Well, the 11 plate's on the lift. We've plugged it into the snap-on diagnostics that I borrowed from my neighbour Alex, which was very kind of him. Done all the relearn procedure, etc, etc. Still no gears. So, the next thing to check is the clutch itself. The code we got was a P0900 and something else, something about an M18 coupling. I've Googled it, a lot of things come up, people have said the actual clutch has got itself. Personally, obviously when a clutch goes in a normal car, you can still put it in gear, it just won't go anywhere, it'll just slip. So how does this know that the clutch is worn or gone? I don't quite understand, but never mind. I've never taken a box out of one, so I might as well take this one out. We can put a new clutch kit in, so then it's got a new clutch kit, gear actuator, it's got loads of new parts. And if it still won't work, then we know it must be down to the SAM unit or wiring or something. With the snap-on kit, you can test all the lights, the wipers, the fan, everything that the SAM controls, and everything worked. So I don't know whether the SAM it has a problem. So anyway, I'm waffling now. So let's get this box out. So first things first is to get the wheels off and undo the shafts. Right, so that's the wheels off and the drive shaft bolts out. Next is the shocks, lower shock bolts and the rear arms. I'll need to support the beam because obviously the rear beam will be under tension with the springs once everything's undone, so I'll crack on with that. Right, the rear arms are a E18 star drive type socket. I don't know what they're called, female Torx maybe. We've got a nut on the back spinning. So the nut on the back is an 18. So the lower shock bolt is a E14. Don't know if that's snapped or whether it's supposed to be like that. It looks like that's snapped. We'll have to see what the other one's like. And that's the other side off. So yes, we have a snap spring. Joy, more bits to add. But we've got the white one in the background there, which we're probably going to break anyway, so hopefully we'll have a non-snap spring on there. Right, so now the beam is dropped, as you can see, we should be able to pull the shafts out. Right, let that drain. We haven't got a starter motor on this because it's got a combined alternator and starter, but if you had a starter motor, it would be bolted in here, so that would have to come out first. So, right, I'm going to whip this off. Okay, so next job will be undoing all the bolts that go round that hold the gearbox onto the bell housing of the engine, and then we need to go up the top. So we've got, if we undo that one, that one, that one and that one from here, I think there might be one up there as well. Yeah, we can probably leave the engine suspended on this. So let's undo these. Right, so the two on this side of the engine are an E14. Right, so the lower one of the two is the longer one. The top one is the shorter one. So these opposite side ones here, hopefully you'll see that. Yes. This side here are E12s. So I'll start with the bottom one and work my way around. Right, so them three on that side are all the same size. So we know that. Well, I don't think we have any more down here. All the rest appear to be at the top. So with this undone, that mount should stay with the engine from this bolt. Right, so we need to lower it down now and get to the top. Right, we've got to get the airbox and associated pipework out. So, don't quite know how it's fitted in there. So we'll have the airbox lid off first, and then we'll see how this other plastic intake pipe goes. I can see a bolt there by the feels of it. And that might be about it. So, right, let's have the airbox lid off. Right, I believe we need to remove the lower airbox. Now I can see a Torx down the back there. Oh, there's two Torx down the back there. Don't know about this side. I think there's just the air intake from the outside. So I'll undo these Torx and see if it moves. Okay, they are a T27. All right, both the same bolts to get them out. Right, well, I don't quite know how to get that out. Right, I've got the airbox and the induction pipe out, but I couldn't get it out without taking the airbox mount off. Now that's screwed in the top there and down on the side of the box, or sorry, on the front of the box, back of the box there. So I had to get that from underneath, and then obviously this one from the top. That fell out, and then I was able to pull the box out. So, bit of a pain. Right, so next job is to whip the mount off. I've started undoing it because I thought if I got that out of the way, the engine might drop a bit and I'll be able to pull everything out. But actually, because it's still bolted up on the rear engine stay and the top gearbox mounts are still done up, it won't. So We need to undo that mount and get that out of the way. And we also need to go around and undo the gearbox bolts, which are there. I don't know if there's another one. I'll have to stick my torch in there in a minute and see. But I think it might be just that one at the top. But I'll have a look and I'll let you know. But first I'm going to whip this mount off. Right, E18 for the main bolts that hold the mount to the gearbox. And then 16mm that hold it to the subframe. Right, I think I'm just going to put the jack under that just in case. That's the mount out. Right, that top bolt is a E14. Right, so that's the top bolt. Right, I've got to unclip this loom. So it goes into the bulkhead, rear bulkhead, and it's clipped on here and here, and it's connected to the gear selector up there. So I've just got to undo, oh well, just pry them off and get that out of the way. Grey one on the left, black one on the right. Right, and that loom is now clear. Right, and there's one more bolt that I can see, which is up the back here. You probably won't be able to see it, but it's just up there I've got to get to. So I'll quickly whip that off camera, and then I'm hoping the box will be loose. So I'm just going to put the jack under it and support it. Right, so the last one that come out, you can see is in that hole there, and it is that bolt there, and it is an E14. So I'm hoping that's the last one. So let's have a quick check. Right, so I don't know how I missed that, but there's a bracket, another bracket, at the back of the gearbox holding it to the rear cross member. So undo those, and I'm hoping that will be that. All right, these two are E14 as well, and we've got the cradle under it, so hopefully right, both of those are off. Right, we have a water pipe diverter thing bolted to the gearbox, which has got to come off. See if I can show you that there. That's that bolt, which is a E10. Oh, yeah, that looks like it's going to come off. Right, I'm going to stand back. Right, that's free. And there we go. One box off. One clutch exposed. Whew. Right, the clutch plate cover is E10 star drive. Right. Maybe we have found the fault then. That's no longer attached. Clutch plate itself doesn't look too bad. But yeah, I think that could be our problem. Well, let's hope it is. So now we've got to do all that in reverse. Here goes. Right, it seems well, a lot of smarts have different gearbox fluid capacity. This one specifically, according to Evolution website, is 2.3 litres, and as it happens, when I got to 2.3 litres, it started coming out the fill hole. So I know with all my Land Rovers, you fill them to the fill hole, the diffs and stuff, so I'm guessing this is just the same, it happens to be 2.3. So anyway, that's filled with oil. Obviously you had to put the drive shafts back in, and now I can start reassembling all the suspension. Right, a bit dodgy. Because it pivots in the middle, the rear beam, on there, trying to actually lift one side to get it together is not easy, because it twists. Well, I've only got one of those, so we've gone with a trolley jack and a piece of wood on this side. But it's getting it up, it's lining it up, which means I can bolt the shock in one side and the spring, because obviously I need to get one side in first. The only thing is I am going to have to put the broken spring back in just for now for testing, because obviously I can't really strip that one there. I'd rather get it on the lift and strip it down. So we'll put the broken spring back in, get it all back together, at least that we can then test it, make sure it works, and then go from there. I don't want to then rip this down, make it technically immobile, although I could put the other spring in, but I don't really want to rip it down there, and then this still doesn't drive. So, right, I'll get this bolted back together and we'll have a test. Right, well that was a fail. New clutch actuator, still no drive. Without the engine running, it selects reverse and first and second, but with the engine running it won't, which tells me the selector's okay, it's still the clutch, whether that be the actuator or the clutch itself, or I don't know, something in the gearbox maybe. I've got my daily on the lift. Now I'm taking a bit of a risk here. I'm going to pull the clutch actuator off this and fit the new one from this. That'll work. If the new one that I fitted on this goes on that and works, then we know that the clutch actuator is okay, and the gearbox will need to have to come off this again. So, right, let's get it changed over and see what happens. Well, as you saw, it drove out, it drove around the yard, and it drove back in. Therefore, the clutch actuator is at fault. I did fit the new clutch actuator onto my one, and it wouldn't drive. So I've put my old one back on it, and obviously now it runs and drives fine. So I've got a brand new actuator coming for this, so I can return the other one. All that time and effort, although we did need to change the clutch, but it's just obviously since the clutch went back in, it's been sat here for a couple of weeks because I had the ump because it wouldn't work. If I'd have tried that a couple of weeks ago, it would have been far ahead, but never mind. Anyway, I'll await the new one and fingers crossed. Right, we've swapped the broken spring out. Remember, I took it off the white one. So that's all now fitted in there, so that's good. The new clutch actuator has turned up and is fitted, so I'm going to stick the wheel on, cross my fingers, and hope we're good. So we've now got the new gear actuator on. We've got a new engine stabilizer. As you can see, this one's the original smart one, and it is toast. It's knackered. So we've got a new one of those on, new springs on, everything's back together. It's running and driving. So I think it's time to book it in for a test. Right, it was a fail. Suspension arm, ball joint, dust cover no longer prevents the dirt ingress, which is, yeah, the bush or the dust cover is pretty much missing. So it's either a new wishbone, complete wishbone, or a new ball joint. So we'll get on with that in a minute. And then nail in tyres, brake pads wearing thin, and again rear tyres. So what I'm going to do is I've got the white one. I'm going to check the wishbone on that and the ball joints. If they're good, I'm just going to swap the whole wishbone over. That's the point of having a breaker. Saves buying new bits if they're all good. I'll put the wheels and tyres probably of the white one on it for the MOT and sort the tyres out in the meantime. And I know this is terrible, but the brake pads as well. If the brake pads are good in the white one, I'll fit them. Otherwise, I'll just order some. But that's what I've got a breaker for. So, you know, recycle where we can. Well, I ended up with new pads, CRW ones. The ones in the white one were pretty low as well, and they were 30 quid, so never mind, it was worth looking. But yeah, the second-hand lower ball joint is in, so that's all good. So now we can put the other set of wheels on that have got good tyres, and then we can take it back for a retest. And there we have it, a pass with 0 advisories. So I'll end this one here and I'll let you know what I end up doing with it, whether I keep it or sell it. So thanks for watching, like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you very soon in another video.